Hello everyone, JH Medium here. Today we are in Baku, Azerbaijan. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the name Baku or Azerbaijan? For many, it might be a big question mark. From the outside, Azerbaijan is known as the birthplace of the modern oil industry, a legacy that has given it the wealth to build magnificent architecture and host global events. Yet Baku is nothing like the oil-rich giants in the region. Shaped by strong Turkic, Islamic, and Soviet influences, while also being one of the most secular Muslim countries in the world. It offers a fascinating blend of culture and history that feels relatively unknown to many travelers. This is a place I cannot wait to discover for myself. So let's begin our 3-day journey through the Azerbaijan capital. It's a beautiful day here in Baku, Azerbaijan. It's our first morning here. It's so nice to be in a place where we can be in the sunshine but not feel like we're completely melting. This park is so lively. There are men playing chess, there are kids running around. Everybody is just here enjoying the sunshine. We got some doner just from a street side stall, and we're gonna have a quick lunch in this beautiful park before going to explore Baku.
阿塞拜疆跟土耳其，不管是语言上都属于突厥语系，然后文化饮食上也特别的相似，所以这里满街也都有可爸爸，而且甚至比土耳其还便宜一点。我们就点了一个牛肉的和一个鸡肉的。
Our first stop today in Baku is the Heydar Aliyev Center. And as you can see, we are surrounded by construction work. This seems to be a theme in our videos. Every place we go, there's going to be some sort of famous destination that's under renovation. I was really looking forward to take pictures of the architecture of this specific building because it's built by one of my favorite architects, Zaha Hadid. But now we can only go see the inside. It costs 15 manat to go inside, so we're going to go check out some of the exhibitions, and hopefully the inside is not under renovation. Let's go. Named after the former president of Azerbaijan and built by Zaha Hadid architects, this building was without a doubt one of the most iconic pieces of architecture here in Azerbaijan. The building today is a cultural center. There are many exhibitions here where you can learn a bit more about Azerbaijan. So that's where we're going to go check out right now. This art piece is so creative. It's just 3 pieces of cloth floating in midair, showcasing the colors of the Azerbaijan flag. And there's like a little suction thing underneath. It sucks the cloths in so they'll never float out of this area. They also have a section with many miniature sculptures of the most important buildings here in Azerbaijan. And I guess since the outdoors is under renovation, this is the only spot where we can see the Heydar Aliyev Center in full. Just looking at these miniatures, we can already see that Baku has some incredible architecture. From the curves and the futuristic shapes of the Heydar Aliyev Center we're in right now, to the very grand government house, to the iconic flame towers rising above the city. We'll try to visit all of these in the coming days. This hall right here displays the different musical instruments of the region.
乍一看，这只是一块石头，仔细看，他说这是一个乐器。
This might be the most impressive musical instrument I've ever seen. It's called a gavodash. It's literally just a giant piece of rock, but because there's many holes and shells inside, when you hit it, it makes different sounds. I wonder how they know what sort of sound it makes when they hit it. How do you tell which portion makes what type of sound? There's also an interactive exhibit where you can stand in front of different instruments and you hear what sound they make. We spent a couple of hours checking out the different floors and learning a bit more about this country. And of course, marveling at this gorgeous piece of architecture. Zaha Hadid really is such a genius architect. Even though the building, of course, is solid, all the lines make it look like it's a fluid. It looks like it's dancing on the landscape. Of course, before coming to Baku, I knew pretty much nothing about this country, so this cultural center is a great introduction to Azerbaijan. On the different floors, they have different little aspects of the culture. For example, it shows their traditional musical instruments, arts and crafts, clothing, etc. And of course, there is a huge section dedicated to Heydar Aliyev, the president who this building is named after. He was the man who started to bring Azerbaijan out of the Soviet era and into the future. So if this is your first time in Baku or Azerbaijan, I think the Heydar Aliyev Center is a great first stop for the trip. Outside the cultural center at the Heydar Aliyev Park, it's also super lively here. There are kids playing football, volleyball. I feel like everywhere where there's grass and a field, you'll find kids playing. In some other countries, I'm not going to name them, for a community space like this, you'll see lots of signs saying no skateboarding, no cycling, no football, no playing around. But here you can do all of this stuff, and I think that's what makes it such a lively space, such an awesome community park. It's actually for the community. Overall, my first impression of Baku has been very positive. Starting with all these green spaces, there's so many parks around the city. There's so many open spaces in this relatively cramped metropolis. At the same time, the people here are super friendly as well. We met so many locals just in the few hours we've been here. When we were ordering our doner for lunch, we were looking at the menu and we couldn't understand it. And another customer at the shop, he was looking at us using Google Translate and he's like, no, I'll help you translate. This whole city just seems like a very friendly place. Before I came here, I didn't really know what to expect. Many people say Baku is trying to be the new Dubai because of its brilliant architecture. But even just an afternoon here, I think Baku and Dubai are uncomparable. Yes, we have these amazing pieces of architecture like the Heydar Aliyev Center behind me. But Baku doesn't feel like a city for the ultra-rich. It just feels like a perfect place for the Azerbaijani. Obviously, this is just our first impression here as a tourist, but it's enough to make me like this city already. To be honest, I only know about Baku and Azerbaijan because of the Formula 1 race, but those images on the TV with the cars zooming through the old town was enough to attract me to this country and this city. Tomorrow, we're gonna head over to the old town where the Grand Prix is held, and I'm so excited to see that area of Baku. Good morning from Baku, Azerbaijan. Today we made it over to the old city. Before we go explore the rest of the old city, we gotta pay respects to a location where many dreams were shattered. If you're a Formula 1 fan, you'll know this as the I am stupid corner.
I am stupid. I am stupid.
On the backdrop of this street, you can see the old city wall. This really is such a stunning part of the city. I guess it makes sense why Formula 1 drivers crash here so often. They were probably distracted by how beautiful this street is. Now let's go grab some lunch at a place recommended to us by a local. Today for lunch we're in this underground restaurant. It looks like a medieval tavern and we're gonna try some regional dishes. We got these flat noodles with minced beef on top. a tomato and cucumber salad, as well as grilled chicken with eggs. And of course, with every meal, we gotta have some chai as well. It looks very similar to the chai we had in Turkey, but I think the color is a bit lighter. Let's try these flat noodles with minced beef on top. Visually speaking, of course, it looks very similar to dishes in the region. For example, beshparmak from Kazakhstan or kaish from Uzbekistan. Flat noodles are my favorite type of noodles. The name of the dish literally means leaf noodles, which makes sense. The meat topping is a bit salty. You can taste that garlicky onion flavor to it. But because it's salty, all that flavor gets infused inside the noodles. It's a very simple dish, but yeah, it's pretty good. Now let's try the toyuk chigurtma, chicken with tomato and eggs. It's not a crispy grilled chicken. I think it's roasted. Nevertheless, the chicken is very juicy and tender. With the addition of eggs, tomatoes, and onions, it kind of reminds me of a breakfast dish, but it's a great combo. The cucumber tomato salad felt like the simplest dish here, but it's good that we have something fresh. I think this restaurant is not catered towards tourists at all. Most of the people eating there seem to be local people who are working around the area just to stop by for a quick lunch. Unfortunately, they didn't have a lot of things on the menu that we wanted to order, so we just have to pick from what they had available. But overall, it was still a good little quick meal. And it's not expensive either, definitely local prices. Unlike some other restaurants in the Old City area, that are probably way more touristy. Mealtime over, now we're gonna walk up I Am Stupid Corner to go see the major part of the Old City. This street is actually called Aziz Aliyev Street. The Old City, Icherisheher in Azerbaijani, is an inner city within medieval defensive walls. However, there's evidence that the city dates back to as early as the 5th century. Walking in here transports you back in time, and it really feels completely different from anywhere else in Baku. One of the most iconic landmarks is the Maiden's Tower, overlooking the Caspian Sea. Before checking out any of the sights, we're just gonna wander through these very pretty streets. All the buildings in the Old City have this very unique feature that I've never seen before. Out of these stone and concrete buildings, all of them have this wooden balcony-like thing sticking out. I'm not quite sure what it's for. From many spots in the Old City, you can see the flame towers rising above the capital. This really is the quintessential image of Baku, a blend of the elegant traditional and the futuristic new. We reached a small park next to the Palace of Shirvanshahs. I was just going to sit here for a short little break after walking around the Old City for a bit. This city really is something else. The architecture is simply amazing. And sitting at this angle, it really shows you old Baku and new Baku right in one frame. It's always great to see a city embrace and preserve its traditional center, but at the same time innovate to create these absolutely futuristic buildings. And now we made our way into the Palace of the Shirvanshahs. Let's go explore. The Shirvanshah dynasty ruled over the region for almost 700 years. Their first capital was known as Shirvan in the central part of modern-day Azerbaijan. After their original hometown was destroyed in the 12th century due to an earthquake, they moved their capital over here to Baku. And this palace was built in the 15th century. This palace includes the royal residence, mausoleums, and a mosque. After the fall of the kingdom, the palace was used for different purposes during different periods. For example, a military warehouse during the Russian Empire. Today, the palace is mainly a museum about the Shirvanshah era. It remains one of, if not the most important landmark in Azerbaijan history. From old paintings of Baku, it's really interesting to see that this old city used to be the entire city. On one side you have the Caspian Sea, and on the other side you have the desert. For example, the place where the flame towers are right now, it was all just desert. As you can see by this painting, the old city of Baku and the Maiden's Tower used to be right next to the sea, but in modern days it's around 200 meters inland. On the lower part of the complex, there is a mausoleum and a small mosque as well, once again reminding you that the Shirvanshahs was a Muslim kingdom. As a palace complex, it actually seems quite humble and small, but nevertheless very elegant.
在这个庭院里还种了一棵开心果树，特别大，特别茂盛。开心果就是原产于波斯，不过像是在土耳其呀和高加索地区都经常能见到它，也可以理解他们这边为什么特别喜欢用开心果来做各种的糕点，比如说 baklava。
The Palace of the Shirvanshahs is of course a must-visit destination in the old city, and it costs 15 manat to enter. Just be aware that some of the stairs are quite steep and difficult to climb. The entrance of the palace also offers one of the most iconic viewpoints in Baku. If you like to collect postcards like me, some of the prettiest postcards in Baku are from this store called Folk Art right next to the palace. Another very interesting place in the old city is the Miniature Book Museum. It holds the world record for the largest collection of miniature books. The museum is not very big and you can enter for free. It's so fascinating to see all sorts of tiny books from all over the world, from religious texts like the Quran and the Bible, to famous literary works like Shakespeare. The owner has even met with both the former and current president of Azerbaijan, so she and the museum are quite a big deal, I guess. At first glance, Baku Old City might look like any other European medieval city. But if you look closely, you'll notice the Persian influences, the Islamic architecture. So it really is a perfect example of a transcontinental city. The difference between the area within the city walls and just outside of it really is night and day. From the winding, narrow, maze-like alleyways to the super wide pedestrian area out here.
在这里还能看到一点点弯角的痕迹，感觉如果是一辆高速飞驰的赛车这样 zoom 过去，旁边就是古城，是一幅非常美妙的画面呢。
Okay, there's around 2 hours until sundown. We're gonna head over to the government house and a seaside park to watch the sunset. On the way, we randomly found another great place for buying postcards and even collecting postage stamps, the Baku Book Center. It's sort of like a mini public library, but there's a section with the Azerbaijan Post. As a Formula 1 fan, you know exactly which stamp I'm getting. Back then, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix was actually called the European Grand Prix. This is something I really like. Look at how wide the pedestrian section of this road is. It's probably even wider than the section for cars. And it's also great that the cycling lane is a little bit lower than the pedestrian lane, so there's no way that the bikes or scooters will go up to the pedestrian side. I think all modern city streets should learn from this.
Look what we found！ 现在离 Azerbaijan Grand Prix 还有4个月呢，没想到他们的坯房已经在建了，我以为这是提前1个月才开始做的。
We're here in Baku during May, but they have many banners up already. George Russell, Antonelli, Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari. Due to race preparations, the view of the iconic government house is blocked off. So we're heading straight to Baku Boulevard Seaside Park to wait for the sunset. Back to doing something I have to do every time I visit a foreign country. Try the local bubble tea. This bubble tea store is very interesting. They have Einstein, Mona Lisa, and Michael Jackson drinking bubble tea. I bet none of those people have ever tried bubble tea before. The tea flavor is not that strong. In hindsight, we probably should have ordered it with more sugar. Here by the shores of the Caspian Sea really is the perfect place to enjoy the sunset. Everyone is out here already, sitting by the sea, sitting in the park, just relaxing, enjoying this very comfortable weather and this amazing view. I really like how Baku's skyline is not dominated by skyscrapers. Yes, there are many modern futuristic buildings, such as the flame towers. This building over here that sort of looks like a coin or a donut. This building looks like a flower. But all of these buildings are quite low, relatively low. So it makes Baku's skyline quite flat. But that also means it doesn't have this overpowering feeling to it. It still makes the city feel very relaxing, really chill. It doesn't feel like you have to keep on looking up at this concrete jungle. You can still see the horizon line. Even though statistically speaking, 90% of the Azerbaijani people are Muslim, this really doesn't feel like any other Muslim country we visited. Well, first of all, Azerbaijan is a secular country, so religion and law are separated. Here by the sea, you do see many people drinking alcohol, just chilling. And of course, the women here mostly don't wear hijabs either. Unlike a country Azerbaijan shares many cultural elements with, Turkey, here in Baku, you won't hear the call to prayer from the mosque like you always hear in Istanbul. So it really does show that in a region, even though there are many similarities, every single country still has its own uniqueness to it. What a perfect way to end our second day here in Baku. Tomorrow we're going to head up to the flame towers, head up to Highland Park, and see the city from a higher angle. Every day we're here in Azerbaijan, the weather has been so lovely. For our first stop today, we're going to head over to the waterfront, to another very interesting building that kind of looks like a flower. It's the Caspian Waterfront Mall. Here on the third floor of the mall, there is a nice food court. So we're going to try a variety of different regional dishes. Here we got a pidam. We got it with mixed flavors. Looks like there's some mincemeat, cheese, and the other one is meat and tomatoes. And we also got a bowl of chicken and rice. Looks like there's the beetroot salad on the side and also some fries. Obviously at a food court, you're not going to find the best or the most authentic version of these dishes, but it's a good place to try a large variety of foods and just for a quick meal. The pide is still really delicious. Crunchy, not too salty, not too oily either. And now we're at the funicular station. We're going to take the funicular up to Highland Park to go see the city from a higher angle and to see the flame towers up close. We made our way onto the funicular. It costs 1 manat per person, and I think it will only take around 3 minutes to get up the hill. Being in a big glass box with no sun protection, it's actually quite hot in here. I'm not sure what's the frequency of the funicular, but it's completely full already and it's not departing. We have reached the top of the hill and the flame towers are right there. We wanted to enter the flame towers to see what's inside, but it turns out there's actually nothing much to see. There's a conference center, a hotel, and I think that's it. While the flame towers are a symbol of Baku, I guess their interior purpose isn't really relevant to visitors. They're still best appreciated from the outside. So now we're gonna head over to Highland Park instead. As you can see, Highland Park is a great place to photograph the flame towers. The flame tower is one of the highest points in Baku, and it really is like a giant everlasting flame burning on top of the city. Azerbaijan literally means the land of the fire. We have reached a very important location at the park, the Martyrs Monument. This monument behind me is dedicated to the people who lost their lives during the country's struggle for independence in the 1990s. An eternal flame also burns here to commemorate the fallen. At the end of Martyrs Lane stands a small mosque with an Ottoman design very similar to the one seen in Turkey. As a gift from the Turkish nation, it also serves as a commemoration of the soldiers honored in Martyrs Lane. Before leaving Baku, we have to enjoy the city view once more from above. This view is probably even more spectacular at night, but we have a flight to catch. From this angle, you can clearly see the different eras of Baku's architecture, from the medieval old city to the neoclassical influences, to the Soviet-era housing, and of course the futuristic wonders. Baku truly has it all. Before visiting this country and city, Azerbaijan and Baku were just names of a sporting event I watched once a year, but now they mean so much more. Baku is a city filled with energy at every corner, yet at the same time feels calm and relaxing. It wasn't even supposed to be on my travel list this year, just a quick transfer point, but I ended up enjoying every moment here. I truly believe that when traveling, you shouldn't only choose the most obvious or popular countries. Sometimes the places that fewer people have heard of can be even more worth visiting. In the end, I'm so glad that Formula One introduced me to Baku, and I hope you will also get the chance to visit this futuristic yet traditional city by the Caspian Sea. If you're new here, do consider subscribing to JH Medium for more travel videos coming soon. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.